All right, friends. Hey, everybody. If I don't know you or you don't know me, my name is Marielle. I am the Director of Career Services here at Candler. And so I'm really excited to have y'all on tonight. Tomorrow is our career fair, the first one in our history. And so we wanted to make sure that students were well prepared as you all prepare to engage with employers. Tonight, I am really excited for this LinkedIn workshop because my friend and my colleague, Sherry Goodman, is here. Sherry is amazing. So Sherry and I actually worked together when we were at J. Mac Robinson College of Business at Georgia State. She is currently the Assistant Director of Career Development and Advising at Georgia Gwinnett College. And she's just an overall amazing person. I know y'all are going to get a lot out of her presentation tonight, so don't be shy. Ask questions. It can go down in the chat. So if you don't want to talk, that's okay. Just type it in the chat. We're here to help you. So ask all of the questions, ask all of the things that you may have, and we're here to assist you. So I'm not going to delay any further. I'm going to toss it on over to Sherry. The floor is yours, friend.
Well, thank you, Marielle, and you're awesome as well. I do miss working with you. We both have gone and spread our wings at other institutions. So thank you for inviting me to speak to the students about LinkedIn. I literally had the same presentation yesterday to students here at UGC about LinkedIn. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share it, then I go into the presentation because my screen is super huge, so it's weird how it works. Let me pull you all over here and to present. So I can still see your images and I can also see chat notifications, but I can't see what's in the chat right now. So Marielle will take over for that. But again, I'm Sherry Goodman. So we had an office title change. Our office is now Career Services. So I'm the Assistant Director of Career Services, formerly Acting Director of Career Services for about a year. And my role, of course, is assisting our students with career readiness, similar to what Marielle does at Candler. So I'm going to talk to you all about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is something that is it's the future, is one of the main methods of networking and job search that employers are really heavily involved with. And also it's a really great platform for you to begin to build your brand and let people get to know you and see your credibility. So today we're going to talk about understanding LinkedIn, and I do want to hear from you. So the ones who are here, I'll ask you a question in a second on the next slide, so feel free to add that to the chat. We're going to talk about understanding LinkedIn, the benefits of LinkedIn, what's important when it comes to LinkedIn. We're going to take a look and a deep dive into my profile, so I can show you a few things that you should consider, and then I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have or any feedback. So I want to know from you all, what do you think LinkedIn is used for? So feel free to put in the chat, what do you think it's used for? Most people have this preconceived notion that it is truly or purely social media. But if you think about it, it is a lot more than that. So what do you think it's used for? And why do you think people use LinkedIn?
Okay, so they're saying networking, job searching, but networking has it. Advertising is another one.
Okay, great. Those are all great. Yes. And that is the primary purpose of it, is a professional environment that allows you to connect with your peers, colleagues, thought leaders, industry leaders, business owners, companies, and allows you to have a platform that you automatically wouldn't have, because you don't want to mix your business and personal life. You typically want to keep those two things separate. So when it comes to LinkedIn, it allows you that space to allow people to see what you're doing in your job other than just your friends and family, because you may not want to have your president of your college on your Facebook page. I wouldn't want that to happen. Or on my Instagram, even though I only post about what my son is doing, baseball games, and if he actually made a base or did not, or made a basket in basketball or did not. So my personal information isn't anything that I would be ashamed of, but I also want to keep that separate. When I go home, I'm at home. When I'm at work, I'm at work. So I want my colleagues to be able to see the great things that I do. So LinkedIn gives you that platform. It gives you a platform to share your accomplishments, your achievements, their great works, but it also gives you a platform to show your credibility, your knowledge of what you have in your area. Ask questions. No one is the smartest person in the room. There's always room to grow. So now you get to ask questions among your peers and colleagues about things that either they're doing or they're asking you questions about what you're doing. So there are several reasons as to why LinkedIn is used and what it's good for. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. How did I go back to this? Can y'all still see my screen? Okay. All right. So why should you use LinkedIn? So I mentioned a few things earlier. LinkedIn is a really great resource for you to research companies. So when you're thinking about starting your career, changing your career, going up into and going up higher within your industry, your career, you want to begin to think about the companies you want to work for. And this is really key because I worked at University of North Georgia. I worked at Georgia State University, and now I'm at GGC. And even within my industry and career, there are schools that I don't want to work at within the state of Georgia. There are schools that don't necessarily fit me, my personality, the way I operate. So as I'm looking at future roles, I want to be able to research those companies, because the college is a company, to get an idea of, do they have what I'm looking for? Does their mission align with what I actually understand and value? So those are some of the things you want to begin looking at, because companies, if they're doing things the right way, they should be present in this platform. They should be offering you opportunities to see what they're working on, what they're doing, what they're great at, what their employees are saying about them. If you're going into looking into companies and it's super tight and kind of hush hush, that means there's probably something going on that they don't want to get out. And do you really want to join and be a part of that? Probably not. So you want to think about the companies, what are they sharing? And even though, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, you get an idea to see exactly how it's been watered. And you get an idea to say, that do I think I'm going to fit well within that environment and like the work that is being done? They could be a super great company, but the work they're doing still may not align with what your career goals are or what you actually like. Networking. So networking, of course, is key. If you haven't learned by now that your job search is like 80% networking. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. You can know the CEO of Fortune 500 companies and you can have dinner with them once a week. But when it comes down to you doing the job and HR saying you go into this position, that's when it becomes tricky. So it's about who knows you. And my goal for individuals I work with, who I coach, who I meet, is you want to be in a position where you do not have to search for a job. You want people to identify you and want to say, I want you to work on my team. I literally had a soft offer yesterday from a colleague, like, I need you on my team. I'm like, I can't leave yet. I have too much work to do here. But you want people to recognize who you are, what you do, what you're good at, type of person that you are, what you believe in, and how hard you work. For them to say, I want you to work on my team. I want you to be a part of what we're doing out here. So networking is not just about who you know, but it's about your opportunity to let people know who you are. So they can talk about you in rooms you haven't even stepped foot in, to say, this person out here is doing some really great things in their industry. In our industry, they're a thought leader. They are creating change. They are change leaders, and I want them here. I want them on our team. So that's a great thing about LinkedIn. It allows you that platform to be able to put yourself out there in a way that you can control, because you control LinkedIn. Okay, there are some things that you'll see when we get to my profile that you have the control over. And then from there, you have job searching. And job searching is not just searching for a job and applying, but also searching for positions, seeing how long it's been posted, seeing who's commenting on the post, seeing who the competition is, seeing a little bit more about the position than that you would probably see on their company website. LinkedIn allows them to be a little bit more expressive and a little bit more, get more insight into the role that you may see on their typical applicant tracking system. So job searching allows you to really get an idea of where you want to go, what the position looks like. If you do have the premium profile, which I don't necessarily recommend unless you are truly changing industries to pay that type of money, it does allow you to see how you compare to other candidates. So that's only within LinkedIn, of course. So you don't know what they have on the actual applicant tracking system, but it gives you a good idea of how you compare the talent across the LinkedIn world, which is big, as the applicants applying to those positions as well. You get a chance to establish and control your brand. So maybe you're in a very small industry that's not very, very, large and really well connected. Now you get a chance to really show what you know and build your brand, show your credibility, and allow others to say, I see this person popping up in my feed, quite a bit. I see them attending these events, going to these different things, these speaking engagements. Let me keep my eye on this person. And for me, brand building is who you are. It's not that you have to be intentional about, I gotta make sure people see me, my logo, not like that, but who you are. And, are you a person that I can trust? Are you a person that I respect? Are you a person that I don't mind working with on a project or in volunteering in the community? Those are the things, because most often people speak about you behind your back than they do to your face. So your goal is to have people that are speaking about you in a way that makes you even feel good to hear the feedback from somebody else. Now, I went to lunch with so-and-so, you were in their circle, you met with them at this place, they spoke so highly about you. Those are the things you want people to say about you. So as good as you are, you also want to make sure that you're controlling the things that are negative, getting in front of those things and making sure that people aren't using the negative things that may happen to talk about who you are. So you definitely want to make sure that you have that control of your brand. You're creating a narrative, you're putting out there what you want people to see, and you're curbing the things that you don't want people to see. Credibility is big. So are you credible? So, from putting out articles, commenting on certain topics, putting out your own ideas and thoughts in different groups, letting people know that, yes, I do this day in and day out, but I'm certified in this. I have been trained in this. I presented on this. So you want people to know that you are credible, and that's hard to do within your industry or your small areas of your work one-on-one. This allows you to reach multiple people at multiple levels across multiple industries, because some of the work that we do is interchangeable. I can do what I do in career services in a college, but I can also do this in corporate. So I want to make sure that my skill set is versatile and that I'm credible in not just one area, but other areas, because I don't know what the next 10 years will look like for me. I may get burnt out of higher education. I love it, but it works you. So if I get burnt out of higher education, I have to keep my eyes out, for what other industries I want to tap into. So now I'm having to make sure that people in those industries who have the hiring ability know who I am. So that's in recruiting, that's in the different corporate areas. I want my name to be known in other places other than just higher education. And a really good one is industry news. As we know, technology is just technology. It's taking over. It's in places that we never would have thought it would be. Automation, artificial intelligence. And at some point, it's going to impact almost all of our jobs. So learning what's happening within your industry is key, because you don't want to spend your time working on credentials or certifications in an area that is antiquated or beginning to phase out. You want to know what's happening, what's predicted to happen in the next 5 or 10 years that I need to be reskilling and upskilling on to make sure that I'm competitive. Because no matter where you're applying, you're competing against somebody. So you don't know what they have done. You don't know what skills they've gained, what experiences that they have. So your goal is to always try to be aware of what's changing within your industry. Even for me in higher education, and specifically in career services, we're dealing with a different population of new students. And, with that comes change. So I can't be the person that closes my eye to it and say, I'm going to continue doing things the way I've always done things. And then I'm going to run into walls and complaints and possible termination because I'm not meeting the demand and I'm not meeting what's happening within my industry. So I love following different articles through hashtags and different groups that I'm in when it comes to industry news. And it's like a hub. It's like a hub of information that I can go in and pull information about, here's some things we need to think about, especially as a team. Here's some things our team needs to think about. How are we going to deal with what's coming down the pipeline in the next 10 years, and how do we position ourselves to make sure that we're ready to take it on. All right. So the next thing I want to highlight is who uses LinkedIn. So we know it's a very big platform, but I want to highlight that 87% of recruiters use LinkedIn to identify candidates. So that means you have recruiters who spend a lot of time going through LinkedIn profiles, using analytics and algorithms to identify talent. They're searching profile, they're seeing how engaged you are, what things do you have in your resume, your LinkedIn profile that has got them, that got their attention, and how they can connect to you. So you want to make sure your profile is built in a way that reflects, what you currently know, but also where you want to go. Because if you don't want to stay in your position, they need to know that they're reaching out to you with the right type of opportunity. There are 35.5 million people have been hired by someone through LinkedIn. So that takes networking, as you see, on a very large scale. Because most often when you're getting ready to, like I mentioned before, people should know you, you want people to reach out to you, because companies tend to want to hire people that they know. They rarely want to go to their applicant tracking system and pull random resumes. They want referrals. They want people that they've heard of, that they know what they can do to be among the applicant pool versus somebody that they don't know, which is a scary concept, because like, I don't know anybody at X company. I'm trying to get my foot in the door, but I'm not getting where I need to go, which we can work on that too. That's what you have Marielle for. But there are things that you can do with people that know you that can help make you a little bit further along in the process, because they know who you are. And there are 900 million members worldwide and growing. So LinkedIn is not just in America, it's across the entire world. So that way you know that there are CEOs, there are CFOs, CMOs, CIOs who have active profiles on LinkedIn, are assisting their recruiters and their HR with identifying talent, because they're involved in LinkedIn. They're seeing people in their circles and their networks grow. They're involved in groups. They're posting these thoughtful comments and topics. They're getting an idea to see people as well. So now you have people who know you. Like I say, you can know the CFO, but they now know you, who can now speak on your behalf and say, we want this person like this on our team. So any questions before I go over to a few things to highlight, and then I'm going to pull up my profile?
I don't see any right now in the
Awesome.
chat.
Cool. Okay. So when you think about building your LinkedIn profile, there are some things you want to highlight. As I mentioned before, you do have control over your LinkedIn. I'm going to show you that once I hop off of this side and go over to my other screen. So you want to make sure that, of course, you have a professional photo, and that's going to be a photo of you by yourself in a professional setting, not with your friends, not with your pets, it's really just you. Now, creativity does have a part in that you want to be expressive in it, but you also want to keep it in a way that's going to bring attention to you in a positive way, not a negative way. Location, we'll see on mine that you'll want to have that to the Atlanta metropolitan area or Georgia. That gives you a bigger view of people within LinkedIn. So if you put your local city and state, that's a narrow view, but also it introduces people to know kind of where you live. So you want to make sure that you're not easily targeted, because everything out there isn't always good. There are some things out there that are not good, and people out there doing things that are not great. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation that they can easily identify you. Education, of course. So your bachelor's degree, your associate's degree, your master's, your doctorate, certifications, everything except high school. You don't need to have high school. Your work experience, that can be paid work experience, unpaid work experience, freelance, part-time. Those are things you want to highlight. Temporary, along with your volunteer experience, volunteer projects, volunteer events that you're a part of. Those are the things you want to highlight. Definitely you want to highlight your achievements. You want to highlight those, make sure that those are prevalent to your profile so people can see those. And then you want to highlight any company or professional recognitions that you may have as well. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn. I think that was the last thing I wanted to see. Yeah. All right, can y'all still see my screen? Cool. Okay. So when it comes to LinkedIn, I usually use my profile to kind of walk you all through, a few things to consider. The first thing, of course, you're going to build your profile. So you're going to go in and begin building those pieces that LinkedIn is going to suggest for you. I have a profile banner that I have actually a student in GGC made for me, because mine was very boring for a long time. So I was like, I want something that represents, what I really am passionate about is career development, and career development for all. So she created this graphic for me, and I just put it up a few months ago, and I love it. Professional photo. It's the one from GGC. I know I still don't like it, but I'm gonna have to roll with it for right now. We're actually in the process of getting a Iris booth on our campus. If you haven't heard of that, an Iris booth allows students to come into the Career Center, sit in front of like a photo booth that you would find at the mall, and take photos that are professional that you can then add to your profile. So we're getting one of those for our students here. So hopefully Emory will go ahead and get one on their campus for y'all. Fingers crossed. So as you build your sections, you see these little pencils. Those kind of tell you that these are things that you can edit. So as you're building out your information, of course, your first name, your last name. If you have an additional name or a name that you go by, you want to make sure you put that there. You also have the ability to add your pronouns, so that way people can address you appropriately. If you don't want to do that, you can take that off. Another neat thing that you can use during the app is you can pronounce your name. Maybe your name is a bit difficult to pronounce, or, it has a different tone to it. So you want to let people know, I want you to pronounce my name the correct way. Because some people call me Cherie and my name is Sherry. So you can use the mobile app to record your name, but you can also record a quick message. Thank you for landing on my LinkedIn page. Take a look around. Let me know what you think. Looking forward to connecting very soon. So that gives people another idea of who you are as a person into your personality. So your headline is what you want to focus on. So your headline is basically your billboard. This is one of the first things people see right above under your name. So you want to make sure that your headline is reflective of what it is you want people to know about you. So if you're currently seeking employment, that should reflect that. Interested in opportunities in data analysts in the Atlanta metropolitan area, that way they'll know what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a specific area, roles in different areas, let that be known, because LinkedIn is going to force it to put your current job or your current education. And we can see that in your experience, but you want people to know off top what it is you're looking for or what you're an expert in. So for me, I have the things that I'm great, that I'm good at, but also some of my achievements, such as the Gates president-elect for this cycle. And then, you put your industry, your education is going to pull those things for you, but you really want to make sure that you're listing in your area up here, those things that are relevant to what you want people to know. For the city, like I mentioned, you want to put Atlanta metropolitan area, or you could put Georgia. Contact information, you can decide what you put. I put of course, my LinkedIn profile. I have my phone number, but it's not my personal phone number. It's my Google phone number. That way, if someone wants to call me for a quick chat, it's going to go to my Google Voice, and it's going to go to the voicemail, so I can decide when to call back. Because as I mentioned, everybody doesn't do things with good intentions. I have my email address on here that they can email me, as well as my birthday, but not the year. So from there, automatically it's going to put your current employer first over here on the right, and then your current institution. So if you're enrolled in school, of course, you'll have Emory here, and your current job will go there. That's something that LinkedIn does automatically. Now, for those looking for employment, I don't know how many of you are looking for employment, but if you plan on going to the career fair tomorrow, I have a pretty good idea that it's probably something you're interested in somewhere in the near future. You have the ability to have open to, which is open to either providing a service, if you're hiring for your area, or open to work. So for me, I have open to work. And within that, I can decide, what are the things I want people to reach out to me about when it comes to me looking for work. Because I don't want people reaching out to me because they want me to do sales. I don't want to do sales. If they want me to do, woodwork, I can't use a hammer and nail. I'll hurt myself if I try. So I need them to be specific about what they reach out to me for. So I put in here the titles of the roles I want to actually go into. I also put in the workplaces that I want. So you can decide now if you are looking for on-site, hybrid, or remote. So that way they'll contact you with the appropriate opportunity that you know you're interested in. My locations, maybe you want to stay in Georgia, maybe you want to leave and go to another state. Make sure you put that in there. And then you have remote locations, which is key because some companies have remote opportunities, but you must be in a certain geographic area. So if you want to work remotely for a position that is the company's headquartered in Pennsylvania, they may say remote, but you must be in one of the tri-states. So that's something to consider as well. Then you can put down, are you immediately looking? Are you flexible? Are you looking for a full-time, contract, part-time, internship, and temporary? If you are new in your profession, I always say keep yourself open to contract and temporary, because those are a great way for you to build your skill set, get an idea of a certain industry, and you're not tied to it forever. You're not having to break a commitment to them. You get a chance to leave when the contract is over or when the position is over, but it also gives you that additional skill set, additional people to network with as well. So you sometimes you want to keep those options open. And then the neat thing you can select, are you open to work for your entire network to know or for only recruiters? So this is the part where it comes to, like, for me, if I turn that part on, open to work, my Georgia Gwinnett College head will spin. They're like, why are you looking for a job? Because that puts a green seal on your photo that lets your network know that you're looking for work. So I have mine set to recruiters only because it's really for me doing demonstrations like this. I'm not looking for a job. But if you are, and you're like, I don't want my employer to know per se, but I want to do this kind of, low key, I'm not super ready, then I do recruiters only. But I'm ready to go. I want my network to know, because they can then see you're looking for work, and maybe you're looking for a job that's not in their area, but they know somebody that they can connect you to. So that's something to consider as well. So from there, you get to add other profile sections, add education, add different positions, add a career break. The other recommended ones are your licenses and certifications, certain courses if you feel that they're relevant, recommendations, and then you have your volunteer experience, publications, patents, projects, which could be work projects as well, honors and awards, test scores if you are in a licensure area that's relevant to your field, any additional languages, any other organizations or causes. So as you look through my profile, we'll go to that in a section, you'll see your analytics. So your analytics are things that allow you to kind of see, are you hitting the right targets? I'm spending my time, I'm posting once a week, I am getting contact from people, but it's not in the area I want it to be. So you want to make sure that you take a look at your analytics to make sure that what you're doing is reaching the right people. And if not, you may want to adjust a few things in how you're posting or commenting or engaged to get to the right people and the right audiences. So far I've had 170 profile views, and I think this is over the course of a week. I've had 7 post impressions, and I've appeared in 44 search appearances. So with the 44 appearances, if I had the premium, I get to see exactly who those people are who are stalking me on LinkedIn. You get to see that somebody from Home Depot reached is looking at me, National Collegiate Entertainers Group, Community Connections, Clayton State Career Services. But also I get to see my top searchers. Right now they're students, because I've been presenting to students. So they're looking at my profile like, she just came in my class, what is this? Salesperson, founders, fundraisers, and corporate finance specialists. So mine varies because of whatever it is I'm doing that week. Some weeks it's more recruiters, some weeks it's more students, some weeks it's more random, depending on where I'm talking to that week or highlighting. So you want to definitely take a look at that and get an idea of who's looking at your profile. From there, you want to look at building your About Me section. That's really key, because the first 3 sentences is what they see on your profile. So your About Me section should be really to gather and grab their attention. So for me, I automatically start off with me having the opportunity to raise $210,000 for my college for a nonprofit internship program, but also talking about how I oversaw and managed a redesign of our construction project, collaborated with staff to build out the D2L program, and help launch GGC's first diversity in the workplace dinner. So those are the things that I feel are really key to what it is I want, readers and LinkedIn individuals to know about me. Then you get to see your activity and your followers. Your goal is to have at least 500 followers, 500 connections, and that takes time. So those connections come from your work, your professional associations, from your from networking, from volunteer experiences, from you name it, from your classes. You don't know who you're in class with. This person will be the next big, change breaker in the country, in the world, and you're enrolled in a class with them, you have classes with them. So those individuals are also part of your network as well. Then you want to take some time to build your experience. So how many of you, of course, have a stellar resume that is highlighting your experience? You have your regular resume that no one sees because it has everything you've done. And then you have your tailored one that you send out to employers based on what you're applying to. Well, your LinkedIn is open. You don't know if it's a recruiter looking at your profile, a coworker, someone who wants to have you part of their board. So your LinkedIn profile doesn't have to fit the 1-page, 2-page rule of a resume. It's a lot more in depth because you're highlighting on certain areas that you feel you have knowledge in a lot of different areas. So it's more diverse. So you want to include all the things that you feel are relevant. The neat thing about that too is experience is not just what you get paid for. So for me, I have my professional association because we have our own LinkedIn page. So it shows my last position that I got to change as board member of Chair of Technology. So I've been on the Gates board for about 8 years, but it was technology, it was a career fair, and now I'm president-elect. So I got to go update that whenever I find the time, which is probably not going to be anytime this year. So you can also add on other things that's not necessarily paid work experience, but work experience, because that's a part of my job. So you see, there's my Robinson, my Georgia State logo for working at Georgia State, and then UNG. So from there, you have your education, your license and certifications that you have, and it's going to automatically link to that credential. So you can't just falsify it. It's going to actually put to the credentialing site. And then my volunteer experience. Now, one neat thing that LinkedIn has is a skills section. And this is where I really want you to spend some time, is listing out your skills. You have a max of 50, but really being diverse in your skill set. Do not try to put all your skills in one job. Think about all the roles that you've had, what you've been involved in, and demonstrate all those skills on your LinkedIn profile. And then what you can do to take it a step further is to take a skills assessment. So what this does is allows you to take an assessment that is really difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult. And you can take an assessment in these different areas to identify your industry knowledge. So you can go in and look for the ones like agile methodology, cybersecurity. And once you score 70% or higher, that then puts a badge on your LinkedIn profile, letting your network know that not only do I do this day in and day out, but I'm also able to pass an assessment to show you that I have knowledge in it. And it's difficult. So when you go through it, the first time you take it, you may not pass. If you don't pass, it's fine. Use LinkedIn Learning to begin preparing more for it, learn more about it in your job, take it again, and there you go. Okay, so that's some things that I would definitely want you to look into. From there, I want to highlight a couple of more areas for you all since you are getting ready to network. So as you build your profile, you want to click on your edit public profile and URL. As I mentioned, you have control over what others see. So from here, the one thing you want to edit is your URL. How many of you have the generic URL that LinkedIn gave you that says your name, ABC123XYZ? Edit that to be custom to your first and last name to make sure that it's easy to identify once you add to your resume, your business cards, your dot card. I don't use business cards anymore. I hate them. I use a dot card, which is an electronic document card that people can scan, save it to their phone. Once they're done with me, they can delete it. But you can add your LinkedIn URL to that. Then you can edit your content and your visibility. So depending on how open you are to people contacting you, you can describe through here what they can see. For my role and what I do, I'm public. So everyone can see, even those who search me through Google or Bing or Yahoo. Some people only want to be seen by the network, so they make theirs visible to their network or only to LinkedIn members. So you get to control what they can see. Maybe the public can see your profile, but not your photo. So you have control over what they can see. That way you can feel confident about, your protection of your privacy. Even though it is a social platform, I still want you to know that you do have some control over what others can see. And then from there, I want you to look into a couple other things. How many of you, just by, the chat, how many of you have joined different LinkedIn groups? No, you haven't, Elijah. So it's a whole other world inside of the world of LinkedIn. LinkedIn groups allow you to really dive deep into a specific topic or area of interest to be around other people who are like-minded. So you can go in and search, you can search for groups in the little search bar. You can search for, HR groups. You can search for analytics groups. You'll see I'm a part of some associations like SOA, CIA, GAZE, Microsoft University Recruiting Team, National Association of Workforce Development Professionals, Big Data, because I love science, I love data, Career Technology Forum. And then within these groups, you get to see the numbers are different. So like GATE 723, CIA 3000, but you also see some that are very small, Women of Color and Career Services 319. So you get a chance to get a bigger impact and people who you want them to know who you are, but you also want to be able to help them. I had a student that was interning with our office about a couple of years ago, working on some data for us, and he came across the issue that he couldn't solve. And I was like, hey, this is the time. Go into your LinkedIn group, ask the question, and see if they can help you out. And boy, did he get help. They sent him dummy data. They connected with him. They met up with him virtually, showed him how to run different reports, showed him how to set things up, which landed to him being, seen in the group, but also landed to him getting his first job right out of undergraduate school, because he was able to take that one connection, that one thing, and grow upon it and build upon it. So you get a lot of great things out of the LinkedIn group. So I definitely recommend, thinking about those. Even your universities may have groups and within this college that you can join as well. So definitely look for those and be involved in those. And then the last thing I want to highlight, of course, are the jobs. So you definitely want to look at the jobs board and get an idea of the type of positions that are out there. How often are they posting them? That's kind of let you know what the recruiting cycle is. Some positions post every summer, some post throughout the year. Some positions are never posted at all because of the hidden job market, meaning that that's where you really comes into who knows you, because they're going to be able to tell you, hey, it's not posted yet. It's going to post in a week, for a day. As soon as it posts, go apply. Once you apply, I'm snatching it down. That's just how it is. I hate to say it, but that's sometimes exactly how it is. So get an idea, like right here, it gave me a recommendation for a director of career services at a SAE Institute. I don't know what that is. I got to look into it. So I'm like, okay, what is it about? They're looking for these key relationships. They're looking at these different things. It has 10 applicants. It's been posted for a month. So if I had the premium, I'll be able to see how I compare to those other applicants. So it's telling me, what they're looking for, 4 years experience in higher education or the audio industry, preferably. It tells me, what the additional information. This is some things to look for. Sitting for long periods. That's why I like to stand when I can. I have a standing desk. So those are the things that help you determine, what it is about the role that you like. I'm an extreme extrovert. Marielle can tell you, I'm an extrovert all day. But I have to also know that certain careers don't fit for me because they're more siloed by myself, and it drives me crazy. I need to be around people. So learning about reading job descriptions helped me kind of decide and learn in the company certain roles I will apply to and certain roles I won't apply to. Like, I love technology. I would never go in to be a coder, but I probably will go in to be in a position where I am training people on the software, because now I get to talk to people and I get to get free food and talk to people. But I wouldn't want to be the one coding. I wouldn't want to be the one building it. So definitely take advantage of that. And then, of course, looking up company profiles and looking up who they are, getting an idea of what they're about. Here's with MGT. So I can go to that company's profile and look and see who they are. MGT impacts communities for good. So it's probably a nonprofit. It's business consulting and services. Almost 300 employees that are on LinkedIn. I can learn more about them. I can see what they are. They're in the public sector. They posted some videos, their page posts. So these are some great ways to get an idea of how active they are. Are they a company that I want to consider? And if I do feel like they have something that, I find with value, then I can follow them. So those are a few things I wanted to highlight about LinkedIn. but I think I covered most of the main areas. So I'm happy to answer. I want to give time for any questions from any of you, about your profiles or anything that I covered. So I'm happy to answer any questions from you.
We did have a question in the chat. They asked if you could go back to how did you get to the skills assessment? Like, where did you click?
Gotcha. Okay. So if you're on your profile, where you go? Click on my profile. So if I go down to my profile, I go down to my skills section. So you'll go down, you'll see your skills. So right here it says demonstrate skills. You click on that and then go down to take the skills assessment. And you go there to click on that and you go through and take and look at the different skills assessments. And they're pretty in depth, like even with PowerPoint, you click on the practice question, it's going to ask you, a couple of questions, and you have to get an idea of how the questions are framed. It's 15, a minute and a half per question, and then scored in top 30%, you get to earn that badge.
Can you do it one more time for the individual that rode the short bus? I'm sorry.
Not a problem at all. So you go to your profile. And then you scroll down to your skills section can be shorter depending on how long your profile is. You scroll down to your skills section.
All right.
And once you get to your skills section, you click on demonstrate skills.
Okay.
And then down there at the bottom, you'll see take the skills assessment and click on that purple skills assessment button.
Skill assessment. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So take some time to go through it to get an idea of the type of skill assessment that they have and, a sample view of what type of questions they're going to ask. And then I don't know if Emory allows you all to have free LinkedIn learning access. It's something we have at our college here. So you connect with it through your personal LinkedIn. You can link to your school. So from there, I get to go into LinkedIn Learning, and it's endless. I mean, there are different activities and courses on DEIB, leadership, management, managing your Outlook calendar, time management, people, all types of areas. So if you don't have LinkedIn Learning through your company, something I would say look into as a personal goal to look into your budget, because if there are some things that you want to improve upon that you don't have the ability to do so within your college or within your company, this is a great way to kind of get that on your own.
I'll look and see if Emory has that where they can connect to LinkedIn Learning, because that's amazing.
Yes. So I tell my students, I'm like, you have a hidden gem, because once they graduate, then they lose access to it because they have to connect through the college. But while they're here, take advantage of it because it's just a great tool. Any other questions for me?
Not a question, but a comment. I just realized how incredibly new, and skeleton my profile is, because I actually had to add a skill to even see the demonstrating skills, but that's how I missed it. I was like, oh, there are no skills on here. You can't demonstrate what you don't have.
Right.
So just, for future reference, if you get anybody like me that is there, they got bones on their LinkedIn page. Yeah, that's it.
Trust me, you're not the only one, which is why I'm happy Marielle invited me to speak to you all about it. So she'll be able to, of course, as a student with her, walk you through your profile, build those things out. It's a rabbit hole, I call it. There's so many different, I didn't even touch on some of the other areas like following hashtags, looking at events that's being posted in LinkedIn. There are so many different things, and it doesn't require you to spend a lot of time. Once a weekend, do a few things here, add a few things there until you're really ready to put it in front of the world, then begin adding your connections. It takes time for you to build it out, but it's not something you want to just do in one time. So take your time, go through it, identify the things that you want to highlight. And then I post once a week, maybe. I wake up in the morning sometimes as I'm getting ready to go. I'll see a friend or a colleague with a promotion. I'll comment on it and I'm done. Or I'll see some colleagues posting positions, I'll repost it and I'm done. But for me, that keeps me relevant in my newsfeed. So when people are going through their newsfeed, the ones who are the most relevant and posting things, that pops up on your newsfeed. So they'll see Sherry's face pop up at least once a week on their news feed about something I'm posting, either a job I'm sharing, commenting on something, sharing something within my college. So those are the things that kind of keep you relevant to your network.
I will say, Sherry, can you go back to your profile real quick? So for tomorrow, as you all are engaging with employers, don't stay up all night trying to make a whole LinkedIn profile. But I will say, make sure you have a picture, make sure, when Sherry was talking about how you can put what you're looking for or either what you've done in that section right up under her name. So I want you to fill that part out. Of course, put your education for sure. If you do that, I think we're gonna be all right.
Yes, yes, that'll get you a good start.
So like Keila, I kind of knew that. That's why I was like, don't do all of that tonight, but
Right.
at least get like the basics. So when you connect with an employer tomorrow, when they go to your profile, at least you have that part done, and then you can
Yes.
fill in the rest as you go on.
Yes, and if you have your phone with you, when you go to your LinkedIn app, hopefully y'all have the LinkedIn app, because I don't go to the browser. I usually use my app on my phone. Under the tab, so at the bottom you have your options, and you have my network. If you click on that, there's a plus sign on the right of a person or icon. You click on that, and it gives you a QR code. That QR code allows people to scan that and connect to your profile. You can also download the QR code to your photos, so you can just pull it up and have them scan it to connect to your profile. So as you're going to the different booths, you don't have to say, oh, connect with me, here's my LinkedIn handle. You can just show your QR code. Now, some people say, no, I don't want to. Some people say, yes, I'm open to doing so. So don't be offended if they say no. Some employers are there on behalf of their company. They may not want it in their phone or have a personal phone. So sometimes it's different. But it's still an opportunity for you to get your network, your profile out to them, for them to connect with you. And also, as you follow up with them after the career fair, that's a great way for you to put in your email. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. So that gives you some more time that you can connect and build your profile out. So you meet them tomorrow, you follow back up with them next week. By that time, you added some more things to your profile. Then you can say, connect with me on LinkedIn. They remember you from the career fair. They see your profile, they see your picture. Oh, I know her, and then they'll connect.
Anybody else have any other questions? Don't be shy.
Well, thank you, Mary L, for inviting me, and thank you all for attending and listening. It was really great to talk to you all about LinkedIn. I'm happy to, offer any feedback, but Mary L is in your corner, so she'll definitely be able to help you with any question that you have. But I wish you all the best of luck tomorrow at the career fair. I'm pretty sure you're gonna meet some great, amazing recruiters and employers, but I wish you all the best of luck.
Thanks, Sherry. And I don't know if you can see the chat now, but they're saying thank you.
Oh, I can see it now.
Thank you so much.
You are so very welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.